pound of this smoked trout? You know, in the middle of winter, there is nothing better than a hot soup or stew. It's so nutritious, but also you can make it ahead of time. And it's the perfect thing for a sports crowd coming over to watch the big game. Do I have a great soup and stew for you today? Starting with my Smoky Fish Chowder. I don't know about you, but smoked food reminds me of the coziness of home. No wonder I can't resist this comforting bowl of creamy chowder. It's got bacon and smoked trout. On Ask Sara, I'm showing some football fans from Baltimore how to pack hot soups and chili for tailgating. Then it's down to Brazil with Leticia Moreinos Schwartz. We'll go on a fascinating shopping trip to learn about Brazilian foods,
the most important vegetable in Brazil,
before we come back to my kitchen to make one of her favorite dishes from her homeland. A soupy stew with chicken, shrimp, peanuts, and cashews. Soup lovers, this is your weekend. I've got you covered with two great recipes. That's today on Sara's Weeknight Meals. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Funding provided by
the 2016 Subaru Legacy. With symmetrical all-wheel drive plus 36 mpg. It pairs well with every kind of road. Subaru, proud sponsor of Sara's Weeknight Meals.
And thanks to the generous support of I'm Sara Moulton. Welcome to Sara's Weeknight Meals. You know, what is it that we all love about smoked foods? I think it reminds us of sitting by a wood fire. It's just such a wonderful aroma. Well, my chowder that I'm just about to make is double smoked. It's so perfect for a fall or wintry night. And what makes it double smoked is, number one, some Canadian bacon. And I love Canadian bacon because it's got all that smoke, but not the fat of regular bacon. The Canadian bacon that we get in the United States is made from smoked pork loin, which is one of the leanest cuts on the animal. The base of my soup is a half a pound of Canadian bacon, 1 medium onion, and 2 celery stalks. I'm gonna add this to my pan. I've got in here already 4 tablespoons of melted butter. And my favorite tool for this is my giant, it's actually a cake lifter. You're supposed to lift cakes, but I lift everything with it. Now, chowder is one of the 2 things that my dad makes. I grew up in New York City, but my family is from New England. And my grandmother, Ruth, was a ye olde New England cook. And she made the most amazing dishes. She made Johnny cakes and popovers and pies and Yorkshire pudding and all this yummy stuff. But she certainly made chowder. And somewhere in there, she taught my dad. I've got some fresh thyme here that I'm gonna take off the stem. We need about a tablespoon plus a teaspoon. If you don't have fresh thyme, that's one of those herbs that I don't mind dried. You'd want a half of a tablespoon plus a teaspoon. So that's a teaspoon and a half plus another half teaspoon. Oh, 2 teaspoons, there you go. I did the math. Okay, that looks beautiful. I need to keep all the butter in there to saute the rest of the vegetables. And also we're going to be making a roux. This is going to be thickened with a little bit of flour. The butter, of course, now is perfumed with all the juices from this Canadian bacon. We're going to let that soften. Normally, I would be adding salt as we go. I'm not going to do it for this soup because there's salt in many of the ingredients, so we don't want to have an overly salty soup. On to the potatoes. I've got a pound of boiling potatoes. And why am I using boiling potatoes? We want them to hold their shape in here. If I used the russet potatoes, which are the big ones with the rough skins, the high starch potatoes, the most famous being the Idaho, they would completely fall apart. I mean, it'd still be tasty, but I want little chunks of potatoes in there when I'm done with my soup. And they've got a thin skin. I don't need to peel them. Okay, potatoes all done. Onions are softened and the celery's looking good. So now I'm going to measure 3 tablespoons of unbleached all-purpose flour, which will be our thickener. Now I'm going to add 3, and you're going to see that the final chowder is sort of a thin chowder. I don't like, one of those gluey chowders, but you could certainly add another tablespoon of flour if you wanted it slightly more thick. And the idea is that you cook it at least a minute per tablespoon of flour that you just added. I have 3 tablespoons of flour. I'm going to cook this 3 minutes. And what we're doing here is getting rid of that floury taste. I'm using one of my favorite tools here, which is a flat whisk, as opposed to a more balloon whisk. And why is that? This tool does not fit into the corners of a straight-sided pan. This tool does. Okay, so about 3 minutes. And now we're going to add some milk that I've heated. This is 3 cups of heated milk. We're using whole milk, homogenized regular milk, full fat. And then you're going to whisk constantly while you add it until it comes to a full boil and it's thickened. And then I'm going to add my chicken broth, 2½ cups. You're probably wondering, wait a second, this is a fish chowder. Why is she adding chicken broth? Well, I don't really like clam juice, which is something you could add to this, the bottled clam juice. And I like the flavor of chicken broth. I often use it with fish. So I'm going to add the potatoes and the thyme and cook it for about 15 minutes until the potatoes are tender. And in goes the thyme. It's going to simmer, simmer, simmer. While that is simmering, I'm going to come on down and work on my second smoky element for this soup, which is smoked trout. This is boneless trout. We've taken the skin off of all of these. I'm going to take the skin off of this one, and it just comes off so simply. When we add this to the soup, which we're going to do at the end, it dissolves rather quickly. So you want to make sure that you don't flake it up too much. We want chunks in the chowder. So I'm just going to break it up gently. I need to go check my soup, see how my potatoes are doing. That's really what we're trying to make happen. So, oop, yes, ready. Don't touch a hot potato with your fingers. Use a knife. Everything's going to go in. So, smoky trout. Now, at this point, all we need to do is to heat it. Here is our smoky Canadian bacon with any juices that were on there. You don't want to lose that. And be gentle at this point because we don't want to break up. I took all that time to flake the trout by hand, and if I just threw it in here and stirred it like crazy, it would break up. That looks perfect, and I wish you could smell it. Okay, let me get my bowl and heat the bowls, because you made this wonderful, yummy, warm soup, so you really want to have a nice hot bowl to put it into. I'm going to talk about a few possible garnishes. So here we have a different fresh herb, which would be very nice with it, which is dill. And you could just put a little bow on top. But before I do that, since we're on this smoky theme, let's add a little smoked paprika. So I always end up putting too much on, but we'll try it. There we go. My dad always puts paprika on his chowder anyway. And then my little bow in the middle. It's like the last thing. It's like the cherry on top. Oh, wow. Oh, wonderful. There you go. Okay, my double smoked chowder for a wintry night. In our ongoing series, Ask Sara, which we started last season, I'm going to be answering questions on the show that I get from my website, saramoulton.com. And I've got a special guest on today who I'm going to be chatting with. Hi, Janine.
Hello.
Now, you live in Baltimore?
Yes, I do.
Yes, and I understand you're a huge sports fan. Is that correct?
Yeah, we do. I have 3 boys that really enjoy going to the Raven games and to soccer tournaments. So we're out in the parking lot quite a bit tailgating. Do you have any suggestions how to pack or what to pack for these events?
Right, I mean, that's really key because you can't just throw it all in a bag. You have to organize it and everything. Well, yes, we do. We have this tip that I'm going to share with you right now. So take a look. So let's start with the MVP of the picnic packing world, the cooler. We all know that it keeps cold things cold and fresh, but it can also keep things hot. And how do you do that? You're going to heat it up with some hot boiling water there. All right, we're going to let this steam for a bit, and then we're going to dump it out and wipe it out and line it with newspapers. A totally cool Dutch oven will keep that delicious cooked stew safe from spilling, and you can reheat it right over a fire or a barbecue. Secure the top with rope made from plastic wrap, and then put it into your new portable warmer. Hot soups can go in travel coffee mugs and stay hot for hours. Plus, everyone can have their own. If you want to keep things cold, just freeze your water bottles. First, they can be your ice pack, and then as they melt, they're just delicious cold water. Are you taking a pie or a quiche on your picnic? Well, hey, just put it in your bamboo steamer and put the top on. What a great way to carry them, plus which this looks so cool for presentation at the picnic. So was that helpful, that video?
I'll say, very helpful. I like the idea about insulating the food like that. I've always considered the cooler for cool things, not for the hot things.
I know.
So that's a great idea.
I know. It's just like you can use a thermos for cold or hot, too. Same thing. So any other questions?
Yes, we haven't never grilled before for tailgating. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, you get one of those cute little hibachi guys, and I have a really delicious sandwich I hope you try. It's grilled kielbasa, and then I make a homemade kimchi. And so what you do is you grill the kielbasa, you cut it in half and grill it, and then you put the kimchi on top, and then just some sharp cheese, and sort of fashion a lid, even just with aluminum foil, and let it melt, and then put it on some grilled buns. Really good. Bet the boys would like that.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks, Janine, so much for your question. Danbury, Connecticut is a typical New England town. But if you stop to listen for a moment, you might hear a samba wafting through the air. A growing population of Brazilians has brought in new shops and cafes. I'm here to meet Leticia Moreinos Schwartz, who trained and worked as a French chef, but her real expertise is her native Brazilian food. We met for coffee and some Brazilian treats.
Sara, I want you to try this cheese rolls.
Oh.
We call it pão de queijo, and it's very typical of Brazil. From north to south, it's loved all over.
Oh my God!
Isn't
Whoa.
it so delicious?
What a wonderful moist texture.
Exactly, and chewy and
Cheesy.
and moist.
How does it get that
Right?
wonderful texture?
It's from the yucca flower or yucca flower.
I am so excited to go make some Brazilian food with you.
Me too. I want to take you to the store, which is very nearby, and we can buy all the ingredients that we need to cook. Everything is there.
Wow, that's terrific. Let's get going.
Yeah. So Sara, this Fernandez store is
Wow.
where you can find most things Brazilian.
I should say so.
Right?
Yes. Wow.
So I want to find this ingredient. Here it is, colorau, or they say it here, colorifico. It
Wow,
looks
that
like
is-
a paprika.
It does. It's really bright red.
Right.
Right.
And it came to our cooking by the way of the Indians. They used to paint their skin red. I actually think that they still do.
And yet it's okay for human consumption, huh?
Yes, it is.
Even
we'll
though
need
it's
that
skin
for
dye.
our stew.
Okay, all right. I'm going to trust you.
Okay. We will need that.
What is that?
The dende oil.
What's dende oil?
We will need for our chicken stew. It comes from the palm tree.
Oh,
Very oily, and it's extracted from the fruit pulp. That's why it separates like that.
oh, I was going to ask. It's like two-tone there.
Right.
Is this like a flavoring and like an intense flavoring kind of thing?
Very iconic, very intense flavor, typical from Bahia, you know, and it's great in the chicken stew.
All right. There we go.
So the pão de queijo that we just tasted, it's done with polvilho azedo. And this is manioc starch or yucca starch.
Oh,
or
okay.
tapioca starch. There are so many names.
names for the same thing. And they're gluten-free?
They are gluten-free.
Terrific.
Okay, so this is fresh yuca, Sarah.
Ah, yes.
The most important vegetable in Brazil. We extract so many things from this vegetable. The flowers that we talked about, juices, I mean, the leaves, I mean, I can think of more than 10 things that are
And this is
prepared
what
with-
tapioca is made out of?
Yes, from yucca, from yuca.
Yucca. Wow.
How do you say yucca or yucca?
I say yucca.
I say yucca.
Yeah, there you go. So much to learn here, but it's time to get back to the kitchen. Hello, I'm here with Leticia Moreinos Schwartz. Boy, that's such an interesting combination of names.
Yes.
And we're making a Brazilian dish. We're in Bahia, right?
Yes, yes.
I never went to Bahia. And it's with chicken and nuts and all sorts of things, and it's called?
Chinchim de galinha.
Yeah. Okay then. All right. So we're starting with, I'm cutting up some garlic here. We got 3 cloves. This is to marinate the chicken.
Right,
And this is just cut up chicken, right?
right. With a little bit of lime juice.
Okay. And it's one whole chicken here, cut up. And you just want this coarse, right?
Yes.
So about like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that looks about right.
Okay.
And I have about 3 tablespoons of
Fresh
lime juice.
Yeah, lime juice, yummy. Okay, I'm gonna let you get all chickeny.
Yes.
We're gonna take turns chickening up. There we go.
So we're gonna just marinate this
And how long do we marinate it for?
for about 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay, so you massage that.
Massage the chicken to make sure that it's all covered in lime and garlic, etc.
Okay, so you can hose down with my
Yes.
soapy water.
Okay, your
And I'll
soapy
get out
water.
the shrimp here. The shrimp will get out the shrimp. Okay, this is just a medium small shrimp. Now, here comes the dende oil, huh?
So the dende oil, it's
at that
really
color.
typical in Brazilian cuisine, especially from the region of Bahia.
So that's 2 tablespoons we're adding to the shrimp, and we're gonna marinate these at room temperature
Right.
while we do everything else.
Yes.
Okay, so let me toss this up, and now, you want me to chop an onion?
Please do. And I'm gonna chop some scallions.
Now, are scallions used a lot in Brazilian cooking?
Very much so, yes.
All right, so I bet you our chicken's been marinating enough.
Yes,
What do you think?
let's check on
Should I
that.
grab it?
Yep, please do.
All right, now we have to pat this, right? Because we don't want it to be
Yep,
all wet. It won't brown nicely. Do you want me to put some oil in the pan?
please do.
Again, we're using olive oil.
Yes. And then I'm gonna season the chicken with some salt and pepper.
I'll get the pepper for you. Oh, it smells good, that oil. Okay, here we go. Quickly, so we can get it into the pan. Get some tongs there. All right,
Okay.
so those guys all go in. I can knock off more garlic if you want. So we're just gonna get a lot of color on them.
Yes.
And how long does it take to brown them?
So about 6 to 8 minutes
Okay.
until it's brown on both sides. What I love about this dish is that it really unlocks the secret to Brazilian cuisine. It's kind of like there's this whole myth that you have to go to Brazil to find the ingredients, when really everything that we have here is local, and the result is very exotic.
Wow.
Okay, so we're
Yeah, we just
browning all over. We're gonna finish cooking the chicken in the braising stage. So I'm gonna remove them all. And can you grab a piece of foil for me, Sarah?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Because we wanna cover to make sure we keep it moist.
Now,
All
so you
right.
want the onions and the scallions?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
All right.
So I'm gonna lower the heat.
Now, it's interesting that you're using both onions and scallions. Why is that?
Oh, in Brazil, we do everything with onions and scallions.
Okay, so they're always
Yeah,
together.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
A little bit of salt and maybe some pepper.
Pepper, here we go, yep. And are we trying to get color on this or not, or just soften?
Just to soften.
Okay.
But we do want to scrape those.
Deglaze the pan. All that yummy
Exactly.
stuff from the
Exactly.
chicken juices. And now all the good
Yeah.
stuff goes in.
Oh, the good
I mean, up
stuff.
until now, it could be anywhere. Okay.
Exactly.
Now,
So
what is that stuff?
Let me tell you about
Oh, that's what we
this.
bought at the market.
Yes, yes.
Look at that color.
In Portuguese, we call it colorau.
I'm gonna try it.
Colorau, it comes from the fruit called urucum, which is from the Amazon region.
Colorau.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting there. I can't identify this flavor either. Okay, and it's used mainly for color.
Yes.
Okay, so that was turmeric. I'm smelling
And
that.
some
That I
turmeric.
recognize finally.
Right.
It's gonna give the color too. We're looking for that nice orangey color.
Right,
But we're
right.
getting it all over the place.
Which
We're
is
getting
very typical from Brazilian dishes, that orangey, reddish color.
Color.
So now we're gonna add our tomatoes. How about if you add the
Okay.
tomatoes, I'll add a little bit of tomato paste.
These are beautiful. These have been peeled and seeded. Okay, and then there's
Then
our
some
tomato.
nuts, ground peanuts and cashews.
We pulsed these in a food processor until they got really fine.
Right.
What's their role here?
So the nuts are basically a binding agent.
Okay, so nuts in.
Right, so
All right.
just a little bit
And
more
again,
salt
we're
and
layering
pepper.
our seasoning. You want more pepper?
Please do.
Okay.
And I'm gonna measure here about 1.5 cups of chicken stock.
Okay.
Starting to smell so good already.
And that's coconut milk,
Coconut milk.
but not that sweet stuff,
Right,
which is for drinks.
exactly.
But coconut milk, regular coconut milk.
Right.
Okay.
So we're gonna bring that to a boil. We're
Okay.
gonna make sure that
Turn
we
it up a
mix
little bit.
well,
Oh, this looks so delicious. There's so much going on in there.
doesn't it? I love the color.
Yeah. There it goes. Just about.
So at this point, we want to cook the chicken low and slow.
Oh, yes. You sound like a girl from the South, like we're making barbecue. Okay, so we turn it down to a simmer. I have a brilliant idea.
Yes.
Let's go have your national drink, the caipirinha.
Caipirinha.
Okay, on my porch. Come on out.
Okay.
Wow.
Isn't it so amazing?
So what's in there?
So this is a mixture of lime, sugar, and cachaça.
What is cachaça?
Well, cachaça is the national beverage in Brazil. Just like there's tequila in Mexico, vodka in Russia, so cachaça in Brazil. And it's extracted from fresh sugar cane juices.
So how long have you been here again?
So I've been here about 14 years.
Wow, that's a long time. What do you miss the most about Brazil?
Oh gosh, I think but what I miss the most is really the people. We love to sing, we love to dance, we love to eat.
Samba.
Yes, samba.
Yes.
And I certainly love to cook.
Yes, this is true.
To Brazilian cuisine.
There you go. Yes. Oh boy, I like that cachaça.
Wasn't it
Yeah, I might have to
delicious?
get some of that for home. I think the husband would like it.
Okay. Looking good. That's
Smell
the
that.
color of Brazil.
Wow. Okay, but we're not quite. We need to get the shrimp
The
in there,
shrimp.
right? Okay,
So I'll
let me-
cover this until we get the shrimp.
Okay. We need more dende oil, though.
Yes, we do.
That's pretty good. Oh yeah, no, it's very good. Actually, I'm going to take it off because it's there. We go, because it's smoky.
Okay, right.
So you'll get
It
that
has a low.
smoke point.
Yep.
Okay. We need some cilantro too.
Yes. Okay. So I'll just pour the whole thing, including the oil.
Of course.
Okay.
Wow. All right, in we go.
Wow. Nice, nice. The smell of it is just so wonderful.
So
Okay,
do you think we're ready?
we're ready?
Okay, so we're going to go outside to finish those caipirinhas.
Yes.
And have our lunch. Ooh, I'm excited. Wow, I can't wait to try try this. But first I have a question. Who is our guest at the table?
So this is a Baiana from Bahia, and in the streets of Bahia, you'll see African Brazilian ladies like that. This looks amazing.
So that little doll is like good luck for you.
Yes.
Okay, oh boy.
Is it so delicious?
There's so many layers of flavors and textures and all sorts of great things in there. Now you have to tell me a Brazilian toast.
Saúde!
What does that mean?
To health.
All right, here we go then. Saúde!
Saúde!
There we go. Nice. Boy.
This is so good.
Yeah, I bet this freezes well too. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. For recipes, helpful tips, messages, and lots more, visit us on the web at saramolton.com/weeknight meals. And go to our YouTube channel, Sarah's Weeknight Meals TV. Funding provided by
The 2016 Subaru Legacy. With symmetrical all-wheel drive plus 36 mpg. It pairs well with every kind of road. Subaru, proud sponsor of Sarah's Weeknight Meals.
and thanks to the generous support of